It was the final of the IPL 2020, and Mumbai Indians once again established their dominance on this trophy. You're watching another episode of End of Days Play, and this is Uninvited Opinions. Nax, your impressions on the game today?
Everything along the expected lines. Mumbai Indians turned up, Mumbai Indians dominated, Mumbai Indians went out victors. So, although there was a lot of fight shown by Delhi, but actually Mumbai never got threatened at any stage. They never felt out of the contest. So they were completely on top of things, and a thoroughly professional performance seals the deal for them. Start to finish, I think they've been the favorites, and they've comfortably carried the tag, and they've just lifted another trophy now.
Absolutely. Mumbai Indians were in cruise control all day long. Let's take a quick look at the scorecard. At the toss, Mumbai Indians made a strategic change. They brought in Jayant Yadav in place of Rahul Chahar, given the number of left-handers in the Delhi batting lineup. Delhi won the toss, elected to bat first, and then as is Mumbai style, they came out with the ball, and got quick top-order wickets. And then there was a period of mini recovery between Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant. Both posted half centuries. Both finally showed a bit of fight that you were referring to earlier. But once Rishabh Pant fell, Delhi's innings lacked at late order momentum, and they just sort of fell away and ended up with a total of 156. For Mumbai, once again, Trent Bolt was among the wickets and was ably supported by the rest of the bowlers, with special reference mentions for Nathan Coulter-Nile and Jayant Yadav, who got the in-form Shikhar Dhawan out. When it came to Mumbai's turn to bat, again, in the power play, they basically sealed the game. Their openers, Quinton de Kock and Rohit Sharma, came out bang bang. For once, Rohit Sharma was also playing the aggressor, so both of them were going after the bowlers. And after de Kock fell, Sharma stitched useful partnerships with Surya Kumar Yadav and then Ishan Kishan. And then when Sharma fell, Ishan Kishan basically saw Mumbai through to a comfortable win. And in the end, Mumbai won by 5 wickets. So, over the past few games, looking at this Mumbai side, I get the impression that, they want to seal the game in the power play, whether they're batting or whether they're bowling. They almost remind me of, those boxers who come in, as soon as the bell goes ding, 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 they want to be the first one to land that mighty punch and knock down the opponent. That's the impression I've been getting.
It's one thing to have that intention. It's another thing to actually get that execution right and manage to succeed on every occasion. So both with the bat and the ball, they have a trump up their sleeve. The opposition is aware of what is coming their way, and yet they just somehow cannot negotiate it. Again, today we were wondering whether Trent Bolt is going to be fit to play this game. He was declared fit, and his impact was immediately there for everybody to be seen. Again, there was a change at the top of the batting order. The surprise element from the last game, Marcus Stoinis coming to open the innings, was carried forward in this game as well. But it took just one ball for Trent Bolt to send Stoinis packing again. And Ajinkya Rahane has had a very strange season. At no stage, I would say that he looked out of nick. He was just middling the ball in his brief stay all along. Somewhere down the line, he has found an unplayable ball early on, or he's found very unfortunate ways of getting out. So today he tickled a ball fine to the fine leg and got caught behind. So again, Delhi, before they knew, they were rocked, and the captain again had to do the tough job of doing the rebuilding. At the same time, keeping the run rate going. He tried to actually play the aggressor, tried to take risk right from the word go, exposing his wickets at times to Bumrah, and tried to take the fight on. Although he succeeded to some extent, and he found a good ally at last in Rishabh Pant, but Delhi were always behind the 8 ball, I felt.
Well, it was, I for one enjoyed that passage of play because they were playing counter-attacking innings. And Rishabh Pant, I thought today, sort of came to the crease with an uncluttered mind. He knew that he just wanted to sort of give himself the first 10 balls to see how the pitch was behaving. And then, and then he chose his opportune moments and went after the bowling. I thought he didn't exhibit any of that indecisiveness that, we've seen throughout the tournament. He seemed a lot more sure of what he wanted to do. And he actually took the fight to the Mumbai camp. And between him and Iyer, I thought they played, it was a very good partnership to watch, because if that hadn't happened, then once again, Delhi would have been staring at a massive defeat. but that sort of at least put them, gave them a solid base. And even though they couldn't sort of kick on and post a massive total in the end, it still gave them some sort of a fighting total. So that was an interesting passage of play. But again, inspired choices from the Mumbai side. They persisted with Kultanile, even though he hasn't had the best of runs. He delivered today. He was very economical with the ball as well as taking wickets, and then a master stroke to get in Jayant Yadav, someone who's not had a lot of opportunity to play this IPL, but again on the big occasion, as is the style with the Mumbai Indians squad. You call up someone, they come in, they deliver, a team performance, and then they contribute to a victory to his side. So that was really pleasing to see.
Rahul Chahar has been pretty much the consistent performer through the season, and I was hoping to say that finally they tinkered with a team one too many, and that costed them. But that is not to be the case. Anything they touch turns gold. We've said time and again that this season has shown us that the teams are actually paying a lot of attention and giving undue importance to this ball leaving the batsman and the left-handers and the right-handers combination based on the bowling attack, and the bowling attack being tweaked based on the batting lineup. But again, the strategic move made by Mumbai paid dividends. So not one move that they make seemed to cost them. They persisted with Kultanile and how good he was in the last few overs.
Yeah, I think it's one thing to sort of tinker with your lineup, but it's a completely different thing for those players coming in to deliver. And I think that's where Mumbai have consistently found the right personnel at the right time, and they sort of put up their hand up and never had sort of an off day, which badly affected the team. And what do you think about the Delhi bowling pattern? Because I, for one, thought that the only way Delhi could have won this game was by attacking up front and taking the wickets. Getting into the Mumbai middle order to put them under some sort of pressure. But I think Delhi persisted for far too long with their spinners. They basically held back their key strike bowlers in Kagiso Rabada and Anrich Nokia. They didn't bowl them enough up front. Would you have done anything different?
Well, I see your point, and I also understand why Delhi started off with Ashwin. He was the pick of the bowlers for them in the first qualifier. Taking wickets was the only option, and I thought they wanted to use Ashwin as a wicket-taking option. And I thought Ashwin did not do a bad job. So although Mumbai came aggressively, he got a good measure of the wicket, and they kind of played him out with some level of respect. The problem for me was the other strike bowlers just did not find the rhythm at the top. Kagiso Rabada went for 18. Of course, 4 of them were leg byes, but 14 of his own bowling. And then Anrich Nokia also conceded in excess of 10 runs. So before you knew, Ashwin had bowled 2 overs in the power play and 1 over from Rabada and Nokia, and already there was 45 on the board. Shreyas Iyer probably had no option but to get on to Akshar Patel to kind of do some kind of containment.
Well, I for one think that Akshar Patel is someone who helps you, pull down the run rate, but not necessarily, take a bucket load of wickets. And what Delhi needed today was a bucket load of wickets because they clearly didn't have the scoreboard pressure. So, I would have probably, given at least another over to Rabada and Nokia in the early stages of the game, just so that to try and get out at least a couple of wickets, if not more. Sadly they didn't do that. They persisted far too long with their spin, and even though there was a phase where the Delhi spinners did sort of pull back the run rate, that didn't necessarily yield any wickets. Rohit Sharma was in control. Surya Kumar Yadav, even though he got run out, was playing fairly comfortably. And then once Ishan Kishan came in, he's been their form batsman this entire tournament. And he just, he just settled into a nice rhythm and, got them home very, very convincingly. And, in the end, Mumbai, it's not unfair to say that Mumbai cantered to a win. Because they did so in the 19th over with enough balls to spare. And even though there were a flurry of wickets at the end, it was just the batsmen trying to go for the big shots and and get them home earlier, but had no bearing on the game so far. With this win, Mumbai have retained the title that they won last year. They're sort of creating a legacy, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are enough murmurs now doing the rounds that they are probably the best T20 franchise team around the world. And so much so that I hear people talking that this Mumbai Indians lineup could actually challenge the Indian national T20 team.
Well, yeah, it would be hard to argue that. Despite losing the final, I think Delhi would be pleased that they've made it to the finals for the first time. They've still got a good core of both Indian and overseas players. The one thing that I'd probably would be concerning is that I don't think they've quite yet figured out how best to utilize their Indian top order options. Prithvi Shaw began brightly, but then faded away through the tournament. Ajinkya Rahane has probably had one or two decent innings, but again, he's not someone you want in your team if you want to get those 180 or 200 plus scores. So I think they still got to figure out that bit. There's definitely they were the second best team in the tournament. I keep going back to Mumbai, but in a tournament that has been so as tightly contested as this one, they were the best team by a big margin.
Yeah, word for Delhi, as you rightly said, they have a good core of players to now work with. They have achieved their first objective, which was to better the performance from the last year. So they made it to the finals. They would have ideally liked to go the full distance, but probably they can come harder the next time. A word for the Delhi bowling led by Rabada and Nokia. Rabada picked up the purple cap today. Nokia ended up with more than 20 wickets. So certainly a success story, and the stocks for Nokia going forward is only going to rise. But my observation from their season this time around was that they are more prone to bowling the test match length and not necessarily the most demanding T20 bowling length. So although there are passages of play where the test match bowling length does the trick for you, but at times when it comes to the skill aspect, when it comes to being canny, bowling those cutters, bowling those pinpoint Yorkers, I think in my books both of them were found wanting. And I think even if one of them had stood up with that kind of a performance in the power play for Delhi, things could have been slightly different.
Yeah, well, that's certainly an area that they'd look to improve, and hopefully they can come back stronger next year. Your pick for the player of the match?
Undoubtedly, it had to be Trent Bolt. He just turns up, he just delivers, bowls those balls that nips around here and there, and gets those wickets at the top, and that pretty much breaks the back of the opposition.
Absolutely. If anything, this tournament has reinforced the mantra that at the top of the innings, Bolt will jolt you. So you can't disagree with that. That wraps up our daily coverage of IPL 2020. But we still got one more episode coming up for you where we're going to share our analysis of the tournament. And Nags is going to come up with his 11 of the tournament, and I'm going to come up with my 11 of the tournament. So we're going to compare and see whose is better, and certainly who's going to win. But as always, thank you for watching this episode. If you like this video, please like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to keep more videos coming your way, and we'll see you again soon. Until then, stay safe.